Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined in studio by Congressman Cliff Bentz. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time today.
It's great to be with you, Craig.
So I know you just came from a FEMA press conference. You were on the ground meeting with locals and checking on the response. What are you hearing about FEMA's response to the Alameda thus far?
I heard a lot of positive remarks from the folks that we spoke with, and there apparently were some hiccups at the beginning, but now things are working and moving forward, and happy to hear that people seem happy.
As obviously a federal congressman, you have a lot of responsibilities, and FEMA is a federal agency, one of many. How involved are you with FEMA in a response like this, or is it something you're just monitoring to make sure that people are happy or that they're getting the responses they need?
Right. Well, we're monitoring. We're not in charge of much of anything, which is normal, I think, for a congressperson. But the idea is to be listening and watching and making sure people know we're available to help if necessary. We reached out to the White House this morning on the way down and made sure that they knew, or it knows, that we're worried about this space and anxious to help. And I'm happy to say the White House is standing by, waiting to hear if we have any problems.
Good to hear. Now, President Biden, speaking of the White House, says his plan to rebuild the nation's infrastructure will also shore up the economy. Many Republican lawmakers have expressed concerns about the cost, which could cost $2 trillion, and for the way the president suggests he wants to pay for it by raising corporate taxes. What do you think of that?
Well, actually, I think it's $2.3 trillion, and a bunch of it has nothing to do with infrastructure. So, like many of these trillion-dollar packages that we've seen, the challenge is focusing them in a way that's going to help us pay them back, because this is borrowed money, and you don't want to spend more than you have to. We don't want to mortgage the futures of our kids and their kids, and these kind of numbers, we could certainly do that. So the question is, how's the money going to be invested, and let's make sure it's invested correctly.
You crossed party lines to vote with Democrats on an immigration bill, breaking with the majority, but not all of your party. Why?
So I promised in my campaign that I'd do my best to help with the H-2A visa program, and this bill that I voted for addresses that issue. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it's a step in the correct direction. And so the immigration situation on the border is hugely challenging, and I blame the Biden administration for failing to control itself and doing a lot of inappropriate things, attracting lots of people to the border. But we still have to address immigration. We have to address keeping people here in the United States available in our workforce. So that's why I supported the bill.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more with Congressman Bentz in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. We're getting here with Congressman Cliff Bentz in studio. Congressman, in control of both houses of Congress, the Democrats are looking to create action on climate change. You worked on this for the GOP in Oregon. Do you think Democrats will create a bill that any Republicans can support?
Well, that's a great question. And if they do what the Democrats did up in Salem, when I had to walk out and to stop a really bad cap and trade bill, then no, there won't be any Republicans supporting whatever they come up with. There are places that we can work together in sequestration, in adaptation, innovation. Those kind of ideas work, but to come in and put in place a top-down means of controlling your every activity, we won't be supporting. And that's what the climate crisis is, in their words, is being used as an excuse for.
Klamath County became the first in Oregon to declare a drought yesterday. You're from Eastern Oregon, and you also serve as the ranking Republican on the House Natural Resources Subcommittee on Water, Oceans, and Wildlife. It's early, but can anything be done to help the farmers and ranchers who may be hurt by drought on the federal level?
Yes, some things could be done, but it takes the agreement of a lot of people, and reaching those types of agreements in a really challenged environment such as the Klamath is sadly unlikely. But there is water available in the lake. It's stored water, and under Oregon water law, I think that it's likely should be available. Unfortunately, under federal law, maybe it's not. And so those kind of confusing problems make allocating the water extraordinarily difficult. And so this is one of the worst water years in the history of the Klamath region. And if ever there was a time to try to work together in that community, this is it. So I so hope that the community will pull itself together, recognize common needs, and work towards solving them.
Is that something that could potentially come through your subcommittee?
Well, I don't know if that will come through the subcommittee. It's possible. What we're seeing now very probably is Congressman Simpson's suggestion that they take out four of the lower Snake River dams. That probably will come through, and of course I oppose dam removal, but I'm listening carefully to everybody. And in all of these situations, whether it's the Klamath or the Snake or the Columbia or waters to the east. So I'm very happy to be in a position to weigh in on this and hopefully help our community.
Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time when you're in town. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.